Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, TGIF. Kathleen Booth here with Quintain Marketing. Friday morning, enjoying my cup of tea as I usually do, and wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you about what you should expect from your website. So as a marketing agency, we very frequently get companies coming to us saying, I need to redo my website. That's more often than not the first thing that we hear from them. And when they come to us and say that, usually it's because they are tired of their website, it looks outdated, and they really are thinking about giving it a visual refresh. And they haven't thought much beyond that. They just want a nicer looking, more modern looking website. They've seen their competitors' sites, they've seen other sites on the internet that they use, and they think, I want my site to look this good. And that's great, and your site should look modern and refreshed and current. But the bigger question is really, what should you expect out of your website? Because if all you're looking for is a pretty site, then what you're doing is paying for a beautiful online brochure. And that happens pretty frequently. We see that a lot with companies. They go through a website redesign, they spend thousands of dollars, and what they wind up with is essentially the digital version of a leave behind, a piece of print collateral. And, that's a lot of money to spend for something that really doesn't take that much effort. So what should you expect from your website? If you are a business owner or if you are the marketing director for a company, there are a couple of really important things that you should expect out of your site. Number one, most important thing of all, is that you should actually expect your website to deliver leads to you. This is something that a lot of people don't think about. Some people don't think it's possible. A lot of people come in and meet with me and say, I get all my leads from referrals and word of mouth, and I'm just not the type of business that's going to get leads online. And my response is, politely, you are kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself if you think you can't get leads online. Almost every successful business in this world is either already getting leads online or has the potential to get leads online. There are just so few that don't. And that's because the way people buy and do their research when they need something has changed. And I don't care if these people are looking for running sneakers, a flat screen TV, a new car, a consulting engagement, a $50,000 set of servers, a company to build them a new house, or a firm to take them through a change management process. It runs the gamut. Regardless of what people are looking for, they go to Google and they research it. And so if you are not set up to get found on Google and to capture the people that are finding you as leads, you're really missing something. And for that to happen, your website needs to have what are called calls to action. And those are literally what they sound like. They are something that calls your visitor to take a specific action. In this case, convert and become a lead. Now, the big mistake that most websites make is that the only call to action they have is what I would call a bottom of the funnel call to action. So what do I mean by that? That is something, for example, like a contact us form, or like a button that says schedule a meeting, talk to a sales rep. Most people are not ready to do that when they come to your site. In fact, that is the last thing that they want to do. Think about yourself. If you're casually visiting a website and you want more information on a product or a service, more often than not, you don't want a salesperson calling you. So you're not going to fill those things out. And companies that have only those types of bottom of the funnel calls to action very often don't get any leads. And then they think that they can't get leads because they haven't gotten leads. And it's sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. So take a minute, press the pause button, and go look at your website and count how many calls to action you have and how many of them are bottom of the funnel, meaning if somebody fills them out, that they probably have the expectation that a salesperson is going to call them. And if the majority of your calls to action are bottom of the funnel, you've got a problem. So you should expect your website to generate leads, and in order to do that, you need more calls to action that target people at what we call the top of the funnel, when they're just starting to look around, or the middle of the funnel, when they're a little bit more educated but trying to figure out, who do I really want to talk to? Is it this company or that company, etc.? And is it going to be worth my time? So that's number one. The other thing that you should expect from your website is that it operates really well on almost any device that somebody visits it from. So these days, the number of people accessing websites from mobile devices has really skyrocketed, and it's continuing to grow. And odds are the majority of the visitors to your site are coming to it through some kind of mobile device, meaning a smartphone or a tablet. So if your website doesn't function well on a mobile device, you're going to have a real problem, and that problem is only going to get bigger over time. So here's another time when I want you to press the pause button and go to your website on your phone or on an iPad or on some other kind of tablet, pull up your site, look around, see how easy it is to navigate. If you're having problems, you're going to have real problems. And what I mean by that is, if you're having problems navigating and you know the site, imagine how tough it is for one of your visitors who's coming to your site for the first time. That problem's only going to get worse as the number of visitors coming from mobile devices grows. Huge red flag if that's the case. The other thing that you should expect from your website is that it is updated frequently, and it is easy to update. So another big mistake I see companies make is they make a massive investment in a new website and then they don't know how to maintain it. And it's to the point where they have to go back to their website designer for every little change they want to make, whether that's, changing the wording on a page or adding a picture, etc. That shouldn't be the case, because in today's day and age, there are so many really easy to use website platforms. They're usually called in the web design world content management systems, or CMSs. And you'll hear common ones, for example, WordPress is probably the biggest one in the world. WordPress makes it easy for anybody to update their website. You can learn how to do it. It has what's called a WYSIWYG editor, which just means that it kind of looks like the menu in Microsoft Word. So if you know how to use the Microsoft Office suite of tools, you can go in and learn WordPress, and your web designer should train you, and you can update your own website. And that just gives you a little bit of freedom. You don't need to become your own webmaster. You certainly can if it's something you want to do, but you should be able to go in and make small updates, as personnel changes happen, or if there's news and you want to add it to the site, or you change the services you're offering and you need to tweak the wording. Those are all things that should be easily done, and you shouldn't have to pay someone to do it or wait a week for them to make that change. So those are 3 short little things I wanted to share with you that you should really expect from your website. Number 1, you should expect that you get leads. That is something that any business can get. Number 2, you should expect that it is easy to use and view and navigate through on any kind of mobile device. And number 3, you should expect that it is easy for you to update or your staff to update without having to call a webmaster. So 3 very basic things that you should expect from your website. If your website fails any of these tests, press pause again and call someone for help. You could call us, you could call another agency. There are plenty of people out there who specialize in web design, but these are all 3 pretty important fatal flaws that if you don't address are really going to cause problems going forward for your company. So if you're looking to achieve marketing success, the first thing you should look at is your website, put it through those 3 litmus tests I just mentioned, and if it fails, you've got a problem. Thanks for joining me. This is another episode of TGIF, my Friday video blogs, and please tune in next week for another one. And if you'd like to get more of these, hold on for just a minute, because you're going to see a call to action. That's right, a call to action, just like I mentioned earlier, that will allow you to subscribe and get these notifications right in your inbox in the future. Have a great weekend. I know I will. See you next week.